What's up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. It's a big week for Run Pure members across both NBA and NFL. Let's get into the winners. In the NBA streets, YGuy223 shipped for $12,000. Our guy AP joined in the fun, hitting for $8,000. Turning to NFL, it was another great week for us, especially when it came to Showdown. I parlayed my appearance on our premium Thursday night Print Factory show into 61K, featuring a lineup with Dallas Goedert in the captain spot. RPS coordinators were all over the Goedert captain play, appearing not only in my premium attack plan, but Mangone pushed it as well, helping to Decify ship for over 67K, while Pete Vegas hit for $7,200 over on FanDuel. But the biggest hit came on Monday Night Showdown, where RPS content was all over Kenyon Drake in the captain spot. Captain Drake was pushed on our free Showdown show by special guest Chris Randone, in addition to our Talking Touchdown show with Spread, Tyler, and Title, where Tyler called his shot, nailing the Drake call ahead of shipping $29,000 for himself.
75% of carries, like he's going to be unowned, like low owned because of his price. He's got to be even more low owned as a captain because his price jumps even more. If he scores 2 touchdowns in this one, you could be golden.
Racer 1A joined in with a 10K hit from Showdown. Kanoski 69 hit for 22K as well. Locks rode Drake captain to a 30K score to continue his heater, while I shipped 2 more King of the Beach seats. But the biggest win was by Run Pure member Homebrew, who hit the perfect unique lineup, solo shipping for a monster $500,000. He joined our NFL First Look show to talk about his big night.
Randone just mentioned at the end of the show, the very end, it was the last lineup I made. It was the end of the show, and he said Kenyon Drake captain, and I was like, well, I don't have one of those. Let me make one of those.
Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Until next time, let's keep running pure.
Your ass better call somebody.
It's me. It's that BIGT.
What is up, everybody? Dunkel back here with Big T, Mangone, the Bruiser, talking a little college football. Saturday, November 12th. I must admit, I will be forced to move this one along a little quicker. Usually we end the show around 11:30. Expect this to end 11:15 or before, but we will still get through all the games. As we often do, we will briefly recap last week. What a disaster. That's a bit of an understatement. Yeah, I mean, between a chain, playing, not playing, put us all in a precarious situation. Dude was still 50% owned and nuked. And then you had just a lot of random nonsense. I don't understand why. Maybe you know, Bruce, why did Braden get nothing? Like, not even did he even get a touch in that Ohio State backfield? And Mayan Williams looked like shit most of the game. Do you have any idea?
It was crazy. Mayan got like 90% of the snaps, I think. I didn't see Hayden at all. So, 97% of the snaps for Mayan last week. And another thing that tilted me was old Richard Reese. I think he got like 10% of the snaps or something crazy. So.
Yeah, the good news there is you kind of called it, right? I mean, I know it's hard to trust head coaches, but you did say it. They were talking about splitting the workload. I didn't think they meant it like that much. I mean, it seemed like he got the least touches out of everybody in that backfield, which was even stranger. But look, obviously we love college football, but you do have weeks where you do feel very scattered at lock. I want to say in most cases you're going to feel scattered at lock. But yeah, last week felt like we were all really scattered at lock. Tony, how'd you handle? I mean, I know that Will didn't really handle it well at all, but it's always tough. I think that to me, college has almost become, the last few weeks anyway, has become how well do you handle the news you're receiving instead of who you actually like, your projections. How well are you handling the news you're receiving? And it's almost feeling like NBA in that sense. But what's your take been, Tony, the last few weeks in this sport?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a trickier spot than last week, where we started the show saying a guy was a total lock, the easiest play of the year. And then by the end of the show, I was almost full fading because I just felt like he wasn't going to play the full game. And then I kind of met in the middle, I think. I faded him for the most part in my 150, and I think I played him on one or two of my main teams. So kind of somewhere in the middle I found, but I don't know. Those spots are tough, man, because it's truly a guess. I don't care what anyone says. None of us knew. And the hard part is, like we said, in college, if he plays, he's going to nuke. Like, we know he's going to nuke for a fact if he plays. It's not like other sports where you don't know for a fact. Like, I know for a fact if he plays, he's going to nuke. But there's the flip side to that where he's 50+% owned, and he could just hold his helmet all game. I literally read something that said he was puking on the sideline as they were getting ready to kick off. So it was definitely in the realm of cards where he just doesn't play, and 50% of the field is dead. So there's a lot of game theory in it. He ended up playing and crushing and being 50% on. So the right move was to play him, obviously. But I think that's being results oriented still. And it was truly a coin flip in my mind.
And he got hurt, and he's out this week. So that's he didn't play like the third quarter or the fourth quarter. So
Yeah, it was just a tough situation all around. Mangone, I didn't get to you. What was your thoughts a bit on last week? And
he was running through, like, did you see the holes he was running through? They were
that was the big thing, right? Like Florida, it was Florida, right? They can't stop the run. Like it was just a shame because it was like, you look at his price, you're like, I hate when I was like, I hate when the price like this because I basically got to lock him in. And then you don't lock them in, and you actually have less than the ownership because of it. It just, what a disaster. Anyway, Mangone, how about you? How'd you deal with the nonsense last week and looking forward to this week?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking forward to getting off with like only 20 minutes left. So I know that now that LeBron James over here says we got to get out of here early, aka Uncle Dunkle, we're gonna make sure we'll have enough time to adjust our lineups and everything because it was a crazy lock. And when I called you LeBron, I was like, this makes sense. Big T is our D Wade. Big T doesn't want to be LeBron anyways. He doesn't want to be number one. Bruce is Chris Bosh. He's like that last missing piece. And I'm just Mario Chalmers, just taking a bunch of shit from LeBron and D Wade. So it's going to be a fun time. Excited to break down the show.
I prefer Ray Allen. I just kind of hang out on the bench most of the game.
You're LeBron. You are the number 7 college football DFS player. You drive this ship. You are the LeBron James of this show. I'm sorry, Dunkel.
Occasionally I come in. I'm asked to make some free throws late in the game. Maybe hit a 3 if we're down 3. But
Ray Allen does not rock that chain. LeBron James is rocking that chain. He is the guy that's driving the ship. He is the one leading us to the promised land.
Anywho, moving onward. Hello to the chat. Looks like we got how many of you folks? 265. So good morning. Hope you guys all had good weeks last week. Obviously, looking forward to this slate, another 14 gamer. Some obvious stuff, some not so obvious stuff. So we'll talk through it, and some obviously key games to stack, and some contrarian games you can stack as well. So let's get this started. LSU, Arkansas. Now, interesting for this one. I feel like I've indirectly heard, and I'm not seeing a lot of props for him either. So maybe there is some news that's not getting fully addressed. Bruce, KJ Jefferson, is there a chance he doesn't play today?
Yeah, Travis asked me that this morning, and I went digging. There was a article out that I read, and it's from the coach. Some kind of clavicle issue that's requiring a steroid injection. And he looked terrible against Liberty last week. So there's a possibility he doesn't play. We could see some of the backup, at least Malik Hornsby, I guess, would be the backup. So, and he runs a lot, but this LSU defense is pretty solid. So I don't know how good of a play it is. So I guess we'll have to see prior to game time.
Yeah, and I think the spread here is not helping the situation because to me this line is around where I would figure it would be if Jefferson was playing, the total, the whole bit. Mm-hmm. So it looks like he'll play, but the odds look like he'll play, but then the news doesn't seem like he would. Didn't look great last week either. So ultimately, that becomes a bit of a situation. I think because of that might drive up our friend Sanders' ownership at 7,100. Obviously, usually a good play. Arkansas is going to score in this spot, and you'd figure if Jefferson doesn't play, Sanders probably sees a better workload. But running back's a tough position today because there's a lot of cheap plays. We'll talk on them as well. Speaking of cheap plays, LSU's Josh Williams in this spot, to me, is in a great spot. Arkansas gives up a lot of shit through the air, a lot of shit through the ground. Williams is their most reliable back, seems to get most, if not all, the goal line work. I think he scored in 3 straight games, if I'm correct. I think.
Yeah.
1, 2, no, 3 of 4. 3 of 4, but the game he didn't score, he went over 100 yards. So I mean, yeah, the guy's been a point slot reel at this price. They usually have kept him at 3K. They increased him slightly. Probably to me, pound for pound, probably the best play in this game. I think people might go to Daniels. I just think his price is way too high. I get it, like he has upside, but I think on the road, I think you're really paying a premium for him in this spot. But other than that, receivers, obviously we can go to Boutte. He has seemingly been back more involved in the offense. I know he's not scoring, but the volume's there, the target share is there. Outside of that, though, not much else I like. Bruce, I'll start with you. I know I've mentioned quite a bit about this game, but what are your thoughts?
I think Williams is my favorite play from this game. Just too cheap, 4,100. Excuse me, and should absolutely smash this Arkansas defense, getting 60% of the snaps most weeks. So they are kind of getting healthier at the running back spot, but I do expect him to still get most of the snaps there. Boutte, as you mentioned, just in a great spot. Don't mind some of these Arkansas wide receivers like Hazelwood or Landers if you want to run it back. Landers is getting 90% of the snaps and a 22% target share last 4 weeks or so. So not a bad run back, but I kind of respect this LSU defense a little bit too much. They are really good. I think they played Alabama really well, even though Alabama did put up some points. They've looked good previous weeks as well, just getting better every week. Jaden Daniels also, he's just been smashing. I think he has a big game today as well.
Tony, what about you? Thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, LSU's been, I can't believe how good they've gotten, actually, where at the beginning of the year, I remember I loved Florida State against them. Florida State handled them pretty easy till the end of the game. I know my Tennessee team just pounded them. So that was kind of the thing with the playoff. Everyone was talking about LSU getting in. I guess if they ran the table and beat Georgia, right? They'd play Georgia in the SEC title, right? I guess. Are they in first right now, Bruce? Where if they win out, are they in the title game?
Yeah, I think they control their own destiny.
Because they beat Bama?
Yeah.
So if they do that, I guess if they beat Georgia, they could be in, but I don't see how they could. So Tennessee almost, this is what I was thinking last week. They almost made it easier for themselves by losing last week, because I know this isn't fantasy related, but it almost makes them easier, because if they win out now, they're going to have 1 loss, and I don't see how they don't get in as a 1-loss SEC team. Yeah. It's just they're going to get in. So they almost made it easier, because if they would have won, they would have had to play the title game, and who knows what happens then, because you lose your last game. You just never know. But now if they win out, they're going to be rolling in, and they're just going to get in. So it makes it easier. I don't know how I got on that topic when we were talking about LSU, but I don't know. These guys look good to me. And like Boutte, like he came in the year as a stud, only 5,300. He's got it rolling the last couple weeks. He is definitely going to be one of my higher owned guys. I mean, he just has looked good to me the last couple of weeks. I think he does good today. Josh Williams, like you guys said, I like him at 4,100. Nice price point. I'm going to have a ton of Daniels just because of upside. I mean, he's shown us what he's got. A couple games around 50 points or so. This almost like the Nick, yeah, one game. I guess only one game with 50. It felt like more than that, but a couple others in the 30s. His 2 back. Yeah, he did have 2. I missed that one. Two games in the 50s and in 32 the last 3 weeks against good teams: Bama, Ole Miss, Florida. I mean, 3 SEC games, 50, 50, 30. I just have to play him. And then the Arkansas side, we got to pay attention to the news. I seen VIP in chat though posted. Jefferson was on the bus with the 1s. Hornsby was on the bus with the 2s, basically. I don't know. I kind of agree with Dunkel where the spread makes me think he's in. If he wasn't in, I would have to think LSU was much higher, 6-7 point favorite probably. So I like this game, though. If Jefferson is in, I definitely think you can play him. It's a little tricky, though, like always in college. You just don't. you don't fully know. But these other, I mean, Landers and Hazelwood, I'm with Bruce on that. I think they're very good plays at those price points, 5 and 5,800. They definitely have upside. So I like this game a little bit.
Man, going about you.
Yeah, definitely a really good game to target. I think overall, like the Jefferson stuff, I knew he was healthy and good to go. Like I definitely would probably be playing him, but I'm not as excited to play him right now. If you're MMEing, you could take a chance, but like don't overexpose yourself too much to it. I thought you brought up some really good points about Josh Williams. The only thing I'll counter with is like, man, like I like him, but like there are a bunch of guys there. It feels like they can kind of get in the way, and the volume, like it's okay. 7, 17, 14, 7, 17. Like which game am I getting? Right. That's like kind of one of the concerns. Also, wouldn't be surprised with Daniel's rushing upside that he could easily steal it. And Dunkel, I know you said, and obviously you're the number 7 college football player in the world. So we have to ask you this huge question. You have the one that said that Daniels is very expensive and he's on the road, but so's Tanner Mordecai. So are you not interested in both? And if you could only pick one, and it's a tough decision, but this is why we got the number 7 college football player in the world, what would you do?
So we will get to that game.
No, but we are on this game because we're on Daniels, and then we have to talk about Mordecai.
I was just trolling, man. Going, I could
okay.
About to finish. No, we'll get to that game, but yeah, for me, it would definitely be Mordecai from the two of them. Mordecai's cheaper. Mordecai's upside's higher today, in my opinion, because he's playing a much worse defense, and so yeah, ultimately, I do prefer Mordecai because I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I think South Florida's conceded like 35 points per game to quarterback, something like that silly. Mordecai's in just such a nut spot. Now, granted, on the road makes it tougher. I don't look if there was a little more obvious plays at quarterback today, I wouldn't be as high on Mordecai, but I think as far as your top tier goes, to me, he's got some of the best upside today at anybody in those price range, in that 8 to 8.5K price range. To me, he's got the most upside.
South Florida's going to have like 8 fans in the stadium anyways. It's not going to be a true road game.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I did hear him bring up that point, and then I was like, oh, I wonder if I couldn't remember if he was at home or a road. And I was like, that's just an interesting thing because that's like a rule that Dunkel goes by, right? So I was kind of very curious because I think a lot of people, if you look at the construction this week, a lot of people are looking to spend at least one quarterback, maybe 2, but they also might spend down to be able to get a lot more in their lineup. So one of the big decision points is Mordecai or Daniels. I think a lot of people are going to be struggling with that decision. I think it's going to be something that people are looking at for most of their teams.
Yeah, I think, look, Hooker's in the conversation too, right? We'll get to that game. They're all in that price range. We'll get to it as well, but I don't mind Hooker either. I just, like I said, as far as when a player's price climbs like this, I just usually never play them in these types of spots. But granted, it's not like he's a bad player. It's just this is the most expensive he's been all year. I feel like Mordecai's been in this 8K range most of the season. They don't put him on every slate though, whereas LSU's on every slate. But anyway, so good there. Speaking of Hendon Hooker, Tony's boy, we'll go over to Tennessee. This is a good quote unquote bounce back spot for Tennessee. However, Missouri is actually a pretty good defense. They play pretty slow. They are, again, they're pretty tough defensively against both the run and the pass. But again, in your typical college football fashion, this is a nice bounce back spot for Tennessee's offense. Looks like they got everybody here. The question is, how much do they really want to showcase? This is going to be a similar scenario to the Ohio State game that we're going to talk about because there's Heisman potential in here, right? So, like, is it possible that Heupel wants to force Hooker to do a little more today against an inferior defense, or at least against an inferior team, if you will? Hooker's another guy that I feel like is right on the fence. Like, it's not what I would consider a smash spot, but it's a good spot. 8,300. Obviously, you compare him with Hyatt, whose price came up. Tillman's price came up from last week as well. McCoy's, to me, practically unplayable. You can get yourself a little different if you want to go with the running backs in a game where Tennessee should control the flow of it. Small's back, but there's risk there. Schrader on the Mizzou side, if you are looking for that quote unquote run back, to me, I wouldn't mind him just because you're getting volume there. You'll get volume in the pass catching game along with the between the tackles. He basically is on the field most of the game. I know that who's the kid? Burden the third gets a lot of target share and sometimes even Lovett, but Lovett was like invisible last week. So to me, both of them are unplayable. One of them might get there though. My run back though personally is Schrader on the Mizzou side. But Tony, your Tennessee team. I don't know what ownership looks like. I can't imagine though people are overstacking this game. I mean, Bruce, you could talk on ownership if you'd like, but I can't imagine it's going to be a popular game. Is this a spot where you want to fire on your boys?
Yeah, you're asking me, right? Yeah. You bring up good points though, where I do want Tennessee, but as you say it, just looking at the scores of Missouri, it's crazy the scoring all season. Granted, their schedule's been somewhat soft for SEC, but still look at the points they've given up. Like Auburn 17, Georgia 26, Florida 24, Vandy 14, South Carolina 10, Kentucky 21. So no like just blow up games against them. And even at home, like Georgia only got 26, barely won the game too. 26-22. I mean, they could have won that game versus Georgia. I remember that night. They were winning most of the game. So I don't know. I was definitely going to be in on the bounce back spot. It is in Tennessee where, I mean, if you look at, I just named off all those scores, but a lot of the better ones were at home. The road games were South Carolina, who sucks. Florida sucks too, that 24. Auburn only 17. So I'm kind of torn. I was definitely going to be in on Tennessee, though, with the bounce back. I just feel like they want to get Hooker back in. And like I said, the whole speech of the first game, if they win out and they roll people up, they're going to be playing in that playoff. So I know they know that. And not that that means everything, but I do think they bounce back. But the uncle brings up good points. And it's easy in my 150 because I'll just play some of it. That makes it easy. I don't have to gamble. But on my main teams, I don't know. I don't feel as good as I felt before I kind of dug into those. Now I knew their defense was good, but they just haven't. I mean, not 30, right? They haven't. Oh, I guess versus Kansas State early in the year they gave up 40, but they haven't given up 30 since then. So definitely a respectable defense. I like Tillman though. If I'm playing one for sure, they got him going last week a little bit versus Georgia. He was their number one coming into the year. I think he could really crush today.
Yeah, look at they finally got him going. Definitely for sure. I mean, it felt like the target share was very similar between the two, and he's cheaper now. Always cheaper last, but cheaper in general. Mangone, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I think Hendon Hooker, he's someone you could take a chance on, but I just don't think I need to today. Like, I'm not that interested in him. You could make the case for someone like Small, right? I mean, I thought last week he was an interesting contrarian option. I knew it would be risky, but I thought you could take a chance on him at just virtually no ownership. And it seems like he's going to kind of not have a lot of ownership again. It seems like everyone is kind of either spending down for a running back or spending all the way up, where that mid-range kind of gets a little ignored. Yes, there's some guys that are not getting ignored in the mid-range, but he is one of them that definitely is. So I think he's kind of in play there. I'm curious what to do with Schrader. Like, I think he's fine. I think he could get the job done, but like, I'm expecting they're going to be trailing a bunch. Is this the kind of running back that I want to take a chance on? I know he has a pretty good projection I've seen too. I think I like him, but I don't love him. I don't know if he's going to be one of those running backs that I'm jamming on my teams. Maybe I'll get a little bit of exposure, or as Big T likes to say, that the people say around the industry, a sprinkle, right, of him. But he's not a guy that I think you want to prioritize in your lineups.
Bruce, what about you?
Yeah, I think Hooker is a good play today. He should be relatively low owned. The way to beat Missouri is through the air. So I would pair him up with a receiver. Missouri's been pretty solid against the run this year so far. And it looks like Small is good to go today. I know he left the Georgia game last week, a little banged up. I guess it was a shoulder issue. So
that damn shoulder from him is giving me nightmares for years now.
Every week, it seems like. But yeah, I like the receivers for Tennessee in this game. Hyatt and Tillman, they both played damn near 100% of the snaps last week too. So they must be getting healthy. I saw Tillman get a little banged up, Hyatt too. So they may not be, but they played every snap. The receivers for Missouri, Lovett and Burden aren't bad. That's the way to attack Tennessee's defense. Also is in the secondary and not on the ground. So Lovett and Burden are good plays. Prefer Burden at his price just because he has a much higher ceiling, I think. But other than that, I really like Hooker and moving on.
All right, let's move on to West Virginia, Oklahoma. And sorry, guys, I know I haven't been doing the implied totals here for you, but 38.5 Oklahoma, 30 West Virginia, definitely one of the higher scoring totals on the slate. In this spot, so Dylan Gabriel, yes, is on the road. I mentioned last week that I felt like the price came down too low, and he got there for folks. But again, much like this sport has been this year, it doesn't matter if you really quote unquote get there. You kind of need the guys who nuke. And Gabriel did not nuke. Marvin Mims got there as well, but he did not nuke. This is another good spot, though. West Virginia's pass defense is awful. They're one of the worst in the country. This spot makes sense for Oklahoma passing offense to do well again. Eric Gray just continues to, again, quote unquote, get there for you. The upside's there, too, because now he seems like he's in a lot more. Definitely has 35, 40-point upside. But again, West Virginia, you really beat them through the air. Not to say Oklahoma's offense can't beat them on the ground, too, but they're just really a team you beat through the air. So, yeah, I'll have some Gray, but I won't have probably as much as the field. In relation to, I also will have a Mims Gabriel stack for sure. As far as the run back goes, I mean, Sam James is probably the safest option to get you there. And I keep saying that because you just need guys with upside. I don't know if Sam James has the upside because he just doesn't score touchdowns. Prather's got a little more upside and Ford Wheaton's got upside, but he's basically 1,500 more than both of them. I can't do anything with this running back situation for West Virginia. I get it. Mathis is back. The price kind of makes sense. But man, you're gonna have some question marks in regards to the workload there. I don't know how much he'll get. He won't get. The script isn't great, or the script isn't expected to be great. He doesn't catch passes. So I don't love the spot for him. But yeah, either way, I think this is a sneaky game. I think this game's gonna go under owned. I will have ownership in this game for sure. Bruce, I'll start with you. How are you approaching this game?
I think Mims is a solid play. Also, Dylan Gabriel also. West Virginia is just horrible on defense, and I think Mims and Gabriel can attack them. Love him in GPPs. Just think he's going to be too low owned against a horrible defense. And the running backs, I love Eric Gray. I have him projected higher than most places this week. He got 74% of the snaps last week, and I think he should see something similar this week. Good pivot off of the chalkier Gibbs, so don't mind that. My favorite West Virginia receiver today, I guess, is Prather. I think he's too cheap. I don't want to pay $7K for Ford Wheaton, so. Yeah, just kind of limiting my exposure here to GPPs, but not a horrible game to attack for sure.
Mango, what about you?
Yeah, one thing I think is an interesting debate on this slate is there's a bunch of 5K receivers I think you could talk about, and that it's kind of in that same range that Bruce was discussing, right? You got BigT there, and then you got these West Virginia receivers. You got James, you got Prather. That's an interesting conversation for sure to have here. So I do think that those are some guys that could be contrarian pivots, maybe off of BigT. I think a lot of people are going to go to him. So yeah, I think that's definitely in play. Not really looking to play JT Daniels that much. I'm good there. But I think those 5K receivers for West Virginia are in play. If you want to do a Marvin Mims pivot, you can. He's going to be very low owned. The reason why he's going to be low owned is, well, look at all the receivers in this range. You got Rice, who we're going to get to. We have Hutchinson against Oklahoma State. We even have your boy Jones. Not a great matchup, but he's on the slate, right? And he's a stud. And then you got the 2 Ohio State guys. So overall, I just think someone like Marvin Mims, despite being only 7,200, is going to kind of get a little overlooked here on this slate. So I think he's a good tournament play to, mix and match. When you're doing your 150 or 20 max, however many lineups you're playing, do think he's in the conversation, but that's kind of it for me. I'm not really looking to stack this game up. I think you could make the argument for it with the quarterbacks and the receivers. I know BigT sometimes does that in some contrarian spots. Maybe this is a contrarian spot that he's looking to do it.
Yeah, Tony, what are your thoughts on this game?
Oh man, Gabriel's just been a headache for me all year. Whenever I play him in a good spot, I feel like he lets me down. So I might just pivot to Gray with Bruce, where he just looks like a smash spot to me this week. 2 of the last 3 weeks, he's gone totally off, 35 and 39, and 21 was the kind of off week. And they just look like they're starting to get it to him more. 20-plus carries all 3 weeks. He caught 8 balls last week as well. I just trust that spot more. And at quarterback, I hate to say gamble because in college these guys can nuke, but we have guaranteed spots in the same price range where I just feel better about other spots. So I probably won't play Gabriel. Mims, I just don't see it. I can't go to him. So if I can't play those two, I need to play someone in this offense in a 70. And I just think it's Gray. where I just think he crushes. I'm kind of with Bruce on that. And it makes my decision points easier where if I was going to play it, like I would just stack it up like Mangone said. I would stack it up, go both ways. You got a bunch of receivers the other way. This freaking West Virginia quarterback is so horrendous. It's so embarrassing how bad he is. I tried to make it happen a week or two ago. It was painful the whole game. So yeah, Sam James would be my guy though on that side, 5,500. I read something or heard something that Prather got benched or something last week, might transfer. So I'm staying away from that, even though if it's just smoke and mirrors, we don't need to really do that. So I'm going Sam James and Eric Gray would be the two guys for me in this game.
Yeah, they subbed in Aaron last week, Jeremiah Aaron, the 3K guy for Prather. So
did he do any good at 3K?
Not too bad. I mean, he's 3K, so I wouldn't hate playing him. I'll add him to the playbook as well. I won't have him there, but yeah, not too bad of a 3K
like
punt.
that.
There's not many this week.
You know, how many snaps did he get? Do we know?
He got 30%, 36%,
and it's probably mostly later in the game.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so we can move on to the next game. This game, I think that maybe even the next one should be relatively quick. Hold on, just loading up on my end. I think this was so Duke, Virginia Tech. Let me look here, looking at implied totals: 29.5 Duke, 20 Tech. Riley Leonard is way overpriced, so yeah, he's an easy no for me. I get it. He had out of nowhere crazy rush upside the last 3 games, 2 of the last 3 even going basically 100 yards. This team doesn't throw; they run the ball a ton. And you're playing Leonard today. You're really hoping he somehow can squeeze you like an 80-yard touchdown run to get you there because he's way overpriced. As for the Duke running back situation, they do split it up between Waters and Moore. So to me, it makes it difficult to love any of that situation. Calhoun's their go-to guy catching passes, but again, that guy has a glass ceiling because Duke just does not throw the football. On the Virginia Tech side, you guys might remember a few weeks ago, our friend from Virginia Tech did let us down pretty big when he was very low priced, Caleb Smith. This offense is pretty dusty. I know King has kind of taken over as their back, but he's okay. He's not great. Grant Wells, the transfer from Marshall, is very blah as well. Just a very overall blah game. So I basically have 0 ownership on this game. Mangone, I'll start with you this time. Anything you like in this game?
Yeah, I'm out on this game. You want to move this ship quick. So not even Stevie Boynton's watching this game. He's a Virginia Tech guy. He's going to be watching college basketball instead because he does the college basketball content. So I am out on this game.
Imagine watching college basketball in the beginning of November. Big T, this game, anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm off this game. You guys are Stevie's already mad at me for my tweet the other night. You guys are going to get him upset talking about that college hoops in November. I'm all for college hoops. Believe me, I love it. You guys, the party, we watch all the games at the Run Pure party. I love it, but I love it in March. I don't love it in November, Stevie.
Bruce, this game, is there anything you like?
Just Hagens, the Duke receiver, 4,100. He had a couple touchdowns last week. He stepped in for the injured guy for Duke, Pancol. He's still out this week, so he looked kind of good. If you need a cheap receiver, but other than that, this game is
actually a good call. Good call. Sure. Illinois, Purdue. Illinois implied total 25.5. Purdue 19. As you guys know, I am a bit of an Aiden O'Connell simp. However, this Illinois defense doesn't get nearly enough credit it deserves. This is literally one of the best defenses in the country. If this team's name was named Clemson, people would respect this defense like crazy amount more. This defense literally shuts down basically everybody they play. So you take a Purdue offense, which has shown some upside against bad defenses and maybe mids. Against good defenses, this team just plays in quicksand. Now, granted, they could stick it up my ass today, but it's not like you're getting a discount on any of these guys anyway. Aiden O'Connell's over 6K. For those that watch, you kind of know my rule with him: 6K or under. He's always in play. I don't care who he plays, but 6K or over does matter to the defense. And I feel like he's playing an elite defense today. Charlie Jones over 8K, not in a great matchup. Obviously, could get you there as long as he stays in the field. His floor is probably 20. But feels like every time I play him, the dude limps off the field 2 or 3 times and then finds his way back onto the field another quarter later. Obviously, you could play the running back on Illinois, Chase Brown. Good play on a weekly basis. There is a lot of guys in that range though. So Brown's probably not going to see a crazy amount of ownership anyway. But yeah, for me, it'll be some Chase Brown. Outside of that, nothing else. Bruce, I'll kick it back to you. Anything in this game besides Chase Brown?
No, that's it. You could make a case for Maccabee just because he has pass catching upside, but other than that, no. Yeah.
Big T, what about you? Anything in this game?
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy to see Illinois play this good a defense all year long too. They haven't like fully like who's the best team they play. I guess it doesn't matter anyways because Purdue sucks. But I don't know. I have a slight interest, I guess, in Charlie Jones just because he just gets so many freaking targets and he's treated. But I agree. Like every time I play him, he looks small to begin with, and he's limping off the field, and he just gets so many freaking targets that I'll probably leave him in my player pool, and if he hits, he hits, but I don't like feel conviction about him or anything. He just gets so much volume that I have to leave him in my pool, I think. And yeah, you can always play Chase Brown. I don't feel that great about him either, but you do get the volume. I talk about it every week on this show. I mean, the dude's getting last 4 weeks, 31, 41, 32, 33 carries. If you're talented and you get that many carries, you have a decent chance to get there. So I'll definitely have a decent amount of him.
Cool, man. Go. What about you?
Yeah, Chase Brown is just someone I don't think I'm getting to as much today. I think I like the other two guys at the top, but I get it. I'm not going to tell you he's a bad player or anything. And our boy Steve is in the chat. He's, he just says he's enjoying the show. So, we got to watch our college basketball slander the rest of the way.
Cool. Let's move over to Ohio State, Indiana. This is one of the most interesting games for me of the slate, and it's interesting for a few reasons. Obviously, nothing on the Indiana side. Henderson's officially out, so you can at least use that to your advantage in whatever way. I personally, so the reason why I'm higher on most, or higher than I think on most for this game, is primarily because CJ Stroud is still, I think, the front runner for the Heisman, despite his poor week last week. This is a team that Ohio State can literally score as many points as they would like to score today in whatever fashion they want to score points in. Now, I know weather's not great, I believe. Bruce, maybe you have an idea of weather there. I think it's going to be a little snowy, maybe rainy.
Yeah, the line hasn't moved too much, so I don't think it's too bad.
With some wind. Yeah, I agree. I think that was confusing to me where the line is like still a pretty high total for this game. Ohio State's team total is 50 this week. Now, granted, I know that they're usually projected in the 40s anyway. It's not like this is like crazy news. But I will tell you what, after watching CJ Stroud struggle last week, I could be wrong. I look back over the last 2 years, any game he's thrown for less than 200 yards, I think. The following game, he's gone for over 40 fantasy points. He's only done it twice in his career, gone for under 200 passing yards in a game. And he's followed it up with 2 back-to-back 40 burgers in those spots. This spot makes a ton of sense, especially if they're looking to pad his numbers. Now, the other concerning part is Mayan Williams. This will be the week where they decide to get Braden involved, which will be just unrealistically tilting if that happens.
If they do that, it's the ultimate troll after last week.
Because Mayan Williams looked like complete dog shit last week, and they just continued to run him out there on 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s and watch him get stuffed, not even look at what Braden would do. It almost made me think maybe Braden was hurt, but I mean, either way, this is your typical quote unquote smash spot for an Ohio State running back who's not seemingly going to fight for touches. He's 7,300, but my big angle is more on the passing game side. This makes a lot of sense for them to just let Stroud nuke today. I don't think he's going to see much ownership at this. I wish he was 8,500 or less. 9,500 makes it tough, but I think it's also going to make it tough for people to get him into their lineups. I think obviously Harrison's, to me, as far as wide receivers go, Harrison's the best play on the slate. This is more to go with the Stroud angle. I just think they overthrow the ball today. I don't care how much they're winning by. I think that they just continue to throw the football today, regardless of the score. Love Harrison today. I think Fleming has limited upside. Could play Buka, but Harrison just seems to get more. I love the Stroud Harrison pair today. I think I love it a lot more than most people will. Mayan Williams, of course. Every lineup I basically built has Ohio State pieces to it. So take that for what it's worth. Big T, how you approaching this game? Because you really can't stack a game like this because of the no run back and will they take their foot off the gas? But do you agree or disagree with some of the things I said in relation to maybe them trying to push Stroud's Heisman candidacy today?
Yeah, and I actually really like it too, because the price points, like you talked about, I think you can take it even a step further than what you were saying in tournaments, even where you could play. Is that true? I was just reading that in there. You could play both receivers to, like, literally no one's playing Stroud with Harrison and Emeka. Like, there's no way anyone, it's just too expensive. And it's a perfect example in college of where you can almost take a little more liability in a different spot. Maybe you play two cheap running backs or whatever, to where I've talked a lot about this too over the years, where you take the easy points. Sure, they might put the foot off the gas in the fourth or something, but they could already have 40 from Stroud and 30 from both of these receivers or something, and you were just nuke. There's so much gambling in college where sometimes guys just don't play. They do this, they do that. If you get just easy points, I don't know. There's something to be said for it, and they're going to want to get back on track after last week. They want to keep him in the Heisman. Everything Dunkel said, I agree with completely, and I love it. I love that you don't have to run it back sometimes. I do like my game stacks, don't get me wrong, but I also like it when they're not even going to have to work for these points. Like, they're just going to get easy, deep touchdowns. Do they have the ceiling at these prices for all of them to get there? Maybe not. That's where the argument comes in. But it does secure you a really high floor on all these teams. You can gamble in other teams to get a little different as well. I'm in with Dunkel on that. I mean, you can pop Fleming in there too as your second on some of them. But I agree, for one, I either want, and if I don't play the passing game, I want Mayan for sure. Like, I want some form of this game in all of my teams, because they're going to score 50, like Dunkel said, maybe 60. They need to make a statement. I think they do. So I love that they priced it up, because if he was like $8K with these other guys and the receivers were $6,900, they'd get a lot more ownership. I mean, no one is going to stack these guys. So I'm definitely in with you.
Yeah, and I think it's obviously different. I mean, I'll be honest, Tony, you could be really different if you decide to go Stroud, Harrison, and Mayan Williams together, because first of all, it's not crazy to think that if Ohio State scores 50, that Mayan Williams has 2 touchdowns, Harrison has 2 touchdowns, Stroud throws for 4, Stroud throws for 400 yards. Like, it's not crazy to think that this team could score 50 and all these guys can, and those 3.
I mean, that's 8 touchdowns, right? Why can't Mayan get 2? Why can't they all get 2? Like, it could happen.
Yeah, so
you're right. And we got other cheap options as you get to it. So just say you do that. I mean, we're going to get to cheap quarterbacks, I mean, you could do it, I think. I mean, what does it leave you if you did somehow play? Just say 3. I mean, yeah, because what you said with Mayan, maybe you just play 3 of those 4 studs. Like, you don't play all 4, you play 3 of the 4.
Yeah, I mean, because you'll still have money, because we have the super cheap running back coming up, and there's enough punt receivers, in my opinion. We'll talk on some of them. And again, you can, that second quarterback position, you can run the South Florida guy. You could do a bunch of different things to get you where you need to go to get these, what I'll call quote unquote free
How
points.
tilting would it be if we played all 4 of them, and then that backup running back we wanted last week comes in and just nukes
300
It
yards.
would be max tilt.
Especially last week, he was fucking 8% owned. I had been 12 lineups out of 15. Anyway, Mangone, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna admit, you've caught me. I was looking at props and stuff, and I have no idea what game we're on.
Oh no!
I was looking at college props. I'm arguing at 2v2 with someone because
we just talked about this game for the last 15 minutes.
Oh, you talked about CJ Stroud and the shitty weather. I got it. See, there we go. I had some weather jokes planned, but then I forgot them. So, but that's no shock. I don't like this game. I'm not going to take the chance. I think the problem is, like, if you build the team that Big T's talking about, like. And yes, no one's gonna have it, but like, it just, your team looks disgusting. Like, it's absolutely gross.
Doesn't look that disgusting, actually, though. So I just put it in. Like,
it's probably not as bad because you have Levine. That's probably why it's not.
So the cheap running back, you play Levine. Like, well, just listen to this team real quick. So you play Levine. This is with all 4 of the Ohio State guys. If I play Levine and I play LaTravis or whatever that dude's, Travis. Like, I got 46.50 for my last 2 spots, and those 2 are reasonable. Levine and Travis are both in play. You still got 46.50 for your wide receiver and your flex. Like, that actually has flexibility to it.
Yeah, it's not as bad. It's probably because of what Levine can do for you today. So, but I don't know. I'm good. We can move on.
Don't cut Travis short. Your boy, your brother.
I will not cut Travis short. I think
your boy's ready.
He is ready, and he's at home. And
you don't play a guy named Travis at 5K against freaking SMU.
This is my kind of special play. Like I'm always on like the cheap dude that's like in the nut spot, like to run around, and his name's Travis. I mean, this is everything's lining up.
Anyone at 5K against SMU named BigT, I guarantee I'm coring them.
We spoke so much on the SMU game without speaking about it. We could probably just skip it when the game comes. Yeah. Bruce, what about you? Do you agree with the sentiment from me and BigT, or do you more agree with Mangone that it's probably a fail-safe? Before you answer, I want to try to influence you a bit. This line's 40, and everybody's betting Indiana. So Ohio State will be scoring points today, like a lot of points today.
Yeah, and Indiana is one of the fastest teams in the country, so they're just going to speed up Ohio State, and it's a smash spot for them. I posted a tweet in the Discord. The coach talked about getting Hayden more snaps this week, so may want to
don't even say that. I can feel the tilt coming.
So. The backup Trainum, who played some last week, I think he's a game time decision as well. So he could be down to just Mai and Hayden there.
Maybe we put Hayden in our stack. Just jam them all in there at 3,200.
Yeah, so I added him to the playbook as well. Just seems like a good spot for him for a cheap running back.
I'll just say it like you say Hayden, like it makes sense, like not with the Mayan team, but if you play the double stack with those two studs, assume they get up 40 or 50 and this dude closes, like it actually comes together naturally.
Yes. Yeah. And they throw so many incompletions. Basilac's so bad. So they could be getting so many drives. It's just a perfect spot for it. The receivers are in a good spot. Stroud's in a good spot, so I love this side of the game. So should be a smash.
That is it. So I will, but because he says I will build one lineup that includes Hayden. I hate the fact that I'm doing it, but I need something to keep me from hanging myself. If Hayden goes for 102 touchdowns today after he didn't even get a single snap last week. But all right, we've talked enough on this game. We'll move on to the next one. This should be a quick one. So Navy Notre Dame. To me, the only option you really have in this game in general is Estime. I think it's pronounced that way. It's not Esteem, right? It's Estime.
Yeah, that's right.
To me, I know Tyree's been seeing a bunch of the snaps, but it just feels like on a weekly basis, Estime is the one that gets there. Obviously, there's limited upside for all these guys because there is this rotating merry-go-round of snaps. But or wait, maybe I meant Diggs. Sorry, Diggs at 4,500 is obviously getting a lot of work, and he at least has upside. So to me, I guess I could be convinced into Diggs or Estime. I can't play Meyer at this price. I get it. He's gotten there a few times at this price. But I don't know. I know Navy's bad against the pass too. I'm going to have probably 0% of Meyer today. He beats me. I just think we loved him when he was 5K. He's 6,800 now in a matchup where they should blow the other team out. So yeah, I don't love it on the Navy side. I think there is one guy that gets a bunch of their snaps. I think that's Fofana. So if you want a cheap guy that at least is on the field a lot and touches the football a lot, sure, go there. But outside of that, this should be a relatively quick one. Mangone, I'll start with you for this game. This does not feel like a Mangone game, but anything?
Not really, but like I will say Michael Mayer, like I'm not gonna like completely be out on him, but I guess the one thing that like is tough is like I just think they're gonna be up and like you're just not gonna get like the perfect script you want. But Navy is bad against the pass, so as they say, a sprinkle of him, but I'm not really loving playing this game.
Big T, what about you? Quick one?
Yeah, I mean, quick one, but I do think these running backs check in. I mean, whatever the hell you said this name is, Estime and Diggs. I mean, so the last 3 weeks, Diggs got 28, 20, and 17 carries at 4,500. He's only got one touchdown, but 14-plus fantasy points all 3 weeks. One of them was, I mean, he went 17 for 114 on Clemson. Clemson's defense has been good. I don't know. Like, you have to take notice to that. And then Estime, let me pull him up real quick. 18 and 20 carries the last 2 weeks. He also went for over 100 on Clemson. I don't know. I don't usually like these spots, but the way today shapes up with cheaper running backs and stuff, I don't know. I kind of have a feeling these guys might crush. And at 9,900 total, if they get 40 plus carries again, which I think they can, I don't know. I kind of feel.
Aren't you worried you can't get 40 plus carries when
I'm a little
Navy's
worried,
bleeding
but
the clock, and Navy's literally only gives up 97 yards per game on the ground. Like I
get it, but like Syracuse D's been pretty good, Clemson's D's been good, and they both crushed versus them two teams. So if they can crush, and they're not going to be owned, like no one's playing these guys, so. I'm not saying they're like core pieces for me, but I think they're perfect to like mix and like if you land on one of these guys as your last piece, I think it definitely could be a winner for you.
Fair enough. Bruce, did you touch on this game? No, not yet. Bruce, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, it's just the two running backs for me as well, just Diggs and Estime. But yeah, other than that, I don't want any part of it. I think Navy is good enough on defense, and they're just going to milk the clock. And just the running backs. All
right, I'm gonna do something maybe silly. I'll skip the SMU game for now. We'll make it as the last game hammer. That's going to be the most popular game for sure. So yeah, folks, enjoy your blue balls for the next 15 to 20 minutes while we talk on the games that don't matter as much. Ole Miss Bama. This is an interesting game because it's likely to be some scoring. I don't respect Bama's defense as much as I have in years past, and Tony's definitely been correct that I am guilty of overthinking their defense and Clemson's defense, and I basically fade everybody against them. However, you guys have been so right about Judkins all year. The kid's an absolute stud. The only concern I have in this spot in particular is Alabama, where they are really good, is actually against the run. But Judkins just feels like he always gets there, and now it's his backfield. My big concern was when it wasn't his backfield. He was kind of splitting touches, 60-40, even 50-50, and sometimes this feels more like a 75-25 now, where he's on the field basically all the time, catching passes as well occasionally. So at 70K, yeah, he's super in play. The problem is just all your cheap values really coming at running back today. So I don't know what his ownership is going to be at. As far as the other running back on the other side, Gibbs is always in play. I do feel like at 8,700, there is a bit of a glass ceiling there personally. But he can get there for you. My favorite play in this game, Mitch, and your guys' thoughts by far at the price is Ja'Cory Brooks. This kid has finally found his stride in this offense. Looks like, 6 catches for at least 80 in 3 of 5, scored in 4 of 5. He is finally becoming the de facto guy in this offense, and this team will throw the football today. Really like Brooks at 6,300 in this game. I could definitely be convinced into more Judkins or more Gibbs. But Big T, how you doing with your boy today, Judkins, or even on the Bama side?
Yeah, I mean, you were stroking my sword there. All my guys I like. I've had Ja'Cory in my core the last couple of weeks. I'm gonna have him again today. Great points because he's got peppered, and I don't think people have fully realized it yet. I mean, he 7 for 97 and a touch, 3 for 74, 6 for 79, 6 for 117. He's definitely in just a total blow up spot, and he's 6,300, which is very nice to me. Absolutely love him today. Gibbs, I think you described it perfectly. I don't need him, but I think he's one of the best running back plays of the day. Huge ceiling. Love him. If you get him, you get him. And then Judkins, he's kind of been the poster boy for Run Pure. Bruce posted, I know I say this every week on the show, redundant, but he posted that video like week 1. Dude was a stud. Reminded me of that West Virginia guy in the video, whatever that dude's name that's still around the league, the YouTube hero. I'm sure people know who I'm talking about. But love Judkins. It's a tough spot, but the good part is no one ever plays this guy. Ever. He's always like 3% owned. Against Bama, he's going to be 3% owned again. And another thing, too, like Bama, I don't know if they're officially eliminated, but they're close to eliminated, unless I'm wrong. I mean, they got 2 losses. They don't look very good. I think Judkins could get them today. And I'm down on Bama. I just don't think they have the same level of players they've had in past years. It's kind of shown all year too. So, yeah, I'm on the same 3 as Dunkel here.
What about you, Bruce?
Yeah, you must have seen my GPP core because, that's where I'm sitting.
You got Ja'Cory too?
Yeah, I got Ja'Cory.
Oh, baby. That's our boy today.
Got Bryce. I love Judkins here. Just a good spot for offense. I think this game game is going to shoot out. Lane Kiffin wants to stick it to his old buddy. So I love this game for offense. And Ja'Cory has just been too good lately. 100% of the snaps last week. Getting a 22% target share. I think Mingo is in play for Mississippi. I know a lot of people aren't going to play wide receivers in this game just because it's so spread out. But I think he can smash, especially if Malik Heath is out again. He missed some last week. He got a little banged up, so something to watch for. Either Mingo or Heath in play for me for Ole Miss. But the running backs, quarterbacks, receivers, I love them all. Love this game.
What about you, Mangone? I know you're a big Judkins guy.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get to him as much today. I think it's better. I think it's better in the stacks, and but I do think he's kind of in that dead range where I think everyone's going up to Corum or Gibbs, which I want to go back to the number 7 DFS player in the world and ask him if it's Corum or Gibbs, who are you going with? Because that's a massive decision again up top. I think most people are going Corum, but you can make the case that Corum's backfield is a little more split than someone like Gibbs.
So the short answer is neither. The more closer answer is I would prefer Gibbs over Corum.
Okay, I'm just curious because I think maybe you're not doing that, but a lot of people are. It's interesting that you're not, but that is definitely one of the big decision points I think a lot of people are making with their lineups, despite having some cheap options around the industry. So I think that's a pretty interesting point that you brought up there. I think overall though, I like Gibbs. Judkins, definitely not a bad tournament play to mix and match throughout your lineups. And then, I've been kind of looking for a receiver in the 6K range to be a little bit of a differentiation guy. And I think you guys were selling me a little bit on Ja'Cory Brooks and trying to get
think? What do you think when we all three just stroked ourselves to him? You think?
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
We didn't sell you? We don't want you in then, Travis. If you think, we don't need you in there with us.
Stay on the sidelines, Travis. We no longer want you on the Ja'Cory.
Listen, see, this is the thing. I'm Mario Chalmers. I'm not LeBron. I'm not Chris Bosh. I'm not D Wade. Takes me a little bit to get there, so I'm in.
You're blue from old school, where we're all up on the chain. Your rope's tied to the brick, though. When you say you think, and it's going through the thing, you're going down with it.
That's not where I want to be. So I want to be going up with the boys. So
that's not where I want to be.
Let's get on the Brooks train. I'm in.
All right, let's move on to the next game. So Iowa State, Oklahoma State. To me, Oklahoma State's a bit in shambles offensively. Doesn't look like Sanders will play again. Maybe he will, but doesn't look like he will. Richardson came back for them last week, but all that did is muddy the backfield for Oklahoma State. Pretty low total as well. On the Ohio State side, look, obviously Deckers is always in play when he's priced like this. So yeah, I mean, he could 4X for you easily at this number. As for wide receivers, the good part with Deckers is easy to pair, right? You either put him with Hutchinson, you put him with Noel. Interesting with Noel, he didn't even catch a ball last week, I don't think, or maybe caught one ball. Either way, was very uninvolved in the offense last week. So maybe a good bounce back spot for him. So to me, Deckers, Noel, I basically play Hutchinson every week that he's available to play. This is not one of those weeks, though. I am very low on Hutchinson. He might get there. I could care less. I just feel like he has limited upside today at this price. And I personally would prefer Rice over him in this spot. So, yeah, not going to him. Oh, let me be more clear. I prefer Rice and Harrison over him in this spot. So, very low on Hutchinson today. He beats me. Mangone, you typically like this Iowa State offense. What are you doing here?
I do think Hutchinson's an interesting pivot off if you want to, and you get the cheap quarterback to pair up with it. So, I don't think it's the worst thing. And Oklahoma State's really bad against the pass. So, I think you could take a shot on it, but I see myself just kind of going Rice over him instead. So, that's just me, but I don't think it's the craziest thing. I think it could be a little bit closer than you do, but at the same time, it's hey, I'm playing this SMU game and I'm kind of calling it a day and finding other spots to get different. That's how you got to play sometimes. You got to just, eat some good chalk and then kind of find the other spots to get a little different.
Fair enough. Bruce, what about you?
Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to play Cartavius Norton, the ISU running back, 3,900 on DraftKings. He's just had a big game last week, got 68% of the snaps. Seems like it's a good spot again, but I'm not getting to him as much as I am like a Josh Williams or one of the other cheaper running back options, especially with Hayden in there now as an option. I prefer him. Wide receivers, you can play Hutchinson. I think he's solid. It's hard for me to get up to that price though. But yeah, he should see his normal 10 to 15 targets. Stanley is also in play for me for Iowa State. But yeah, I don't love the game. Deckers is a good price. He can get you 25 to 30 possibly. So he can be in play. He's ran the ball kind of nicely the last couple of games too. So that's a possibility. But yeah, mostly staying away from this game other than the occasional Norton there for ISU.
Cool. Big T, last but not least, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I usually play Hutch, but I'm kind of off of him with Dunkel this week. I just like some other receivers a lot this week, so I doubt I spend up there. I just don't want to spend my salary on this game. Low total, I think in the mid 40s. I just don't see it. And yeah, the Iowa State running back, I hope people play him. I don't know. Earlier this year was Brock or whatever that dude's name was. And I don't know. I just don't trust it. So I'm off this game. We have a lot of certainty this week in college, at least in my mind. I'm not going to gamble on some of these spots like this.
Cool. Let's move over to Clemson, Louisville. This game is like super easy for me. I never play anybody from Louisville on the road. Cunningham is a different quarterback on the road. He's priced down a bit, but Clemson's defense is very good. They're not as good as Clemson's defense normally is, but they're still very good. I wish there was a little more clarity to this Clemson quarterback situation because Ugalele, or however it's pronounced, this would have been a good spot for him because he just saw Syracuse and Notre Dame, two very good defenses, and now is not seeing such a good defense. But there is some concerns about him being benched. So I can't play him because of that. However, one of my favorite plays of the slate on a per dollar basis, Davis Allen, Clemson wide receiver. The dude is seeing a good amount of target share, and he's 3,700. There are just not a lot of cheapy wide receivers today. There's a lot of cheapy running backs. There's not a lot of cheapy wide receivers. So when you're building your lineups, to me, this dude's floor is like 10 today. He's going to get targets. If he scores, it's magic. So I love the spot for Allen today. Outside of that, nobody else in this game. I do normally play Shipley, but I just can't get there today with all the other options with him at 67. So yeah, for me, it's Davis Allen, the lone ranger on this game for me. Bruce, I'll kick it to you for this game. What's your thoughts on Allen and overall thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I think Davis Allen's a good play. Also, they really like this kid Adam Randall. He's 3,100, getting about 30. He got 36% of the snaps last week. With Bo Collins out this week, he stepped in and played a lot in his spot. He's a track guy and 6'3", 230. So I really like him. If you want a cheap wide receiver that's not named Davis Allen, Tyler Hudson is also possibly in play. 36% target share last 4 weeks. But yeah, he's priced up. Yeah, it's a tough game for me to really like. I kind of respect Louisville's defense a little bit more. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Yeah, mostly a stay away other than the occasional Randall or Allen share.
Mangone, what about you?
Yeah, I don't think I want to invest in DJ. You're going to lose me money today, or whatever Big T has called him in the past, but he's not a guy I'm interested in. We do need some cheap receivers, so I get the Davis Allen thing, but that makes me have to kind of invest in that quarterback, and I don't really want to. So I think I'm trying my best to stay away from this game. I just don't think it's one that I absolutely love.
Big T, what about you?
Yeah, I was going to fade this game for sure, but I added the two receivers because I want some cheapies too. Again, we talked about it. I like some of the spend ups, like the Ohio State guys, some of the guys we're going to get to in a minute. And you know what? I need some value in there. And both these guys make sense because I know Louisville's defense is susceptible here and there. And 37 and 3,100 for these receiving options fit nicely. So I'm going to add them to the pool with you guys.
Well, let's move over to Michigan, Nebraska. Pretty easy one. Obviously, easy fade of Nebraska's side of the house. On the Michigan side, Corum expects to see ownership, of course. Maybe even Edwards will see ownership today. Man, I don't find my builds getting there. Look, I know that they can nuke I guess. But the only way both them nuke or any of them nuke is if they're in the right time, in the right plays, because they're likely going to they're back to almost I don't want to say a full split, but what I'll call a 65-35. So it does limit Corum's upside. I can't play Grant on the other end. Receivers side, I mean, yeah, you could take a risk on a guy like Ronnie Bell, but no thank you for me. So just way underweight on this game, which is probably going to be a game that's underweight to begin with. I don't know what Corum's ownership's at. I could care less. I'm just not getting there today. So, Mangone, you're a Corum guy. What are you doing with our friend Blake today?
Yeah, I want to play him, but like I will say, like when I keep like making my teams, like I am trying to like find like an upgrade somewhere, and I'm trying to decide, is it to get off Corum? I'm also then I get some extra money when I do make a change, and I'm like maybe I go to Gibbs instead, right? Because I do think Corum is going to be very popular, and I think he's a good play for a good reason. I also think Edwards is interesting because I think he could be a cheap guy that you could end up looking at in tournaments. Like if you're looking for some value, Edwards could easily go off for a bigger game if they get up big. And we know that AP and Snyder, they're all sad there about Big Corn, and Hoops Michigan team is going to just roll over them. Helmet's going to be excited beating up AP and Snyder's team, but I think Corum's in play. He's a really good play, but you do have to make a big decision. Are you playing him or Gibbs? And I think that's going to be the big decision point. I'm currently leaning Corum right now, but I think it's just one of the biggest conversations on this slate. Like I said, at the quarterback, that's another big conversation that people are kind of going through. Is it Mordecai or is it Daniels? And then is it Gibbs or is it Corum?
And last but not least, Big T. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I mean, Corum, as everyone knows that watch these, like I just keep playing him. I think Michigan's like the easiest team to predict in football for me for whatever reason. Like, I think you can play both of these guys together. I know it's my classic move and I've done it forever, but I just playing these two running backs together against Nebraska, I just feel like I'm going to get 5 touchdowns and like 400 yards from them. So I love both of them. If I had to choose, I guess I'd choose Edwards just because of, like you said, it's closer to a 50-50 split, especially when it blows out. But I like both of them, man. The good part about Corum is very similar to the Ohio State argument where do I think he necessarily has the biggest ceiling? Probably not. But do I think he's like a near lock to get you 25 plus? Yes, I do. And there's a lot to be said for that. Like other guys are just not locks to get you that much. I just think he's a dead lock to get that. I mean, there's always the game too where he just totally nukes even higher. So I don't know. These are like the easy plays, what I consider very easy. Like you play them. I don't think there's hardly any risk at all outside of just the random stuff, the injury, the whatever happens. But if they play, I don't see there's that much risk. And I do like this cheap receiver too, this Schoonmaker too. I like his name. He looks pretty solid. He's had a bunch of games where he's got a ton of targets. And I don't like the passing game from Michigan, but he's 3,800. He's in that same price range of these guys. He's getting the targets. He gets the easy work. So I'm going to have a decent amount of all three of these guys. And I think you should have something from Michigan on almost all of your teams.
AP's bringing up a funny point. Like Big Corn did stack it up on Big Mo last week, right? Are people going to have that in the back of their head?
Didn't Big Mo still shove it up their ass even after his slow start?
I think you're right. He did. What did he end up with?
I'm pretty sure he did. I don't know for sure.
Oh, he did almost get 30. Okay.
Yeah. And he started so bad too.
I couldn't remember because I was so annoyed about the chain stuff. I was like, I need to put this away and just not look. I was like very frustrated.
I was there with you.
Just disrespectful from Mangone, who knows I'm trying to leave by 11:15. Bruce, how about you? Thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Corum is in play for me. I have him in my core lineup at the moment. So he just seems like he's in a good spot. I like him more than Edwards, but Edwards could get there as well. They did pretty much split last week, so it does take a little bit of his upside away, but I think he should still get 30 this week. Schoonmaker, like Big T mentioned.
You have to love that guy. Yeah. That name, you have to.
No doubt. When they lost their number one tight end and he stepped in, just McCarthy just looks his way like all the time. It's crazy that he's still 3,800. He's getting peppered there. So he's solid. Your guy Trey Palmer, I know he kind of has hurt us a little bit.
I'll take the L on
his,
that one because
his target share is still 39%, which is crazy. If they get down big, he could get some more balls his way. But the quarterback situation for Nebraska is just so bad. They've lost Casey and are starting Brock Purdy's brother, I think, this week. So yeah, pretty much out on that. I think it's Corum and Schoonmaker, and that's it.
All right, so I have to go in 2 minutes, but I will briefly talk on the SMU game before I hop off, because obviously that's the most popular game, and then you guys can just finish the other two games. So SMU, the way I'm personally approaching it is it makes it tough, right? Because Levine is going to be so high owned that I'm actually shocked. I don't even know what Mordecai's ownership is going to be. Is 20%, 25%, Bruce? Is that high?
Yeah, somewhere around there, maybe 30.
So I find that interesting because I can't imagine everybody's going to love the idea of pairing Mordecai with Levine. Mm-hmm. But I'm doing it. So I think in every Levine lineup I have Mordecai. So that doesn't mean I have a lot of Mordecai. Every lineup I have them paired together with a pass catcher and an easy run back. Marsh is a great play, arguably pound for pound the best play in the slate at quarterback at 5K. Probably going to be whatever it is, 30% owned. He's got a ton of upside. SMU speeds the game up. He's a super easy pair with, I think, Weaver, because Weaver sees just basically every target that goes that way, and he's under 6K. So yeah, I like it. The problem is that I'm higher on the Ohio State passing game, so it does make this interesting or tougher for me to go to Mordecai in every scenario. But yeah, overall, this is going to be a popular game. It's not rocket science for the fact that this game will be popular in many ways. But yeah, I think you either got to be at the field or lock this game, because I think if you fade it, this is not the type of game in this sport that you fade. There's likely going to be one or two guys that absolutely nuke in this game. So yeah, ultimately Levine's going to be super chalky. And before I head off, I want your guys' thoughts on it. Big T, I'll start with you on the between the Levine's just like a lock. Like obviously if he doesn't get there, he doesn't get there. But like you fade him. You're just hoping he gets injured. I don't know how else. Like I don't know how else you're fading him today outside of just hoping he gets injured. And then what are you doing with the receiving game?
Yeah, I agree on Levine. It's just a play. You just put him in there. And the crazy part about pricing in college too, just say we do run bad and he gets injured or something. I still don't think you're like, sure, you might be dead to like the massive field tournament, but everything else, you're not even dead there because he's going to be so high owned and he's so cheap on top of it. So that's just one less decision today. You're just playing him. I mean, 3,400 projected over 20 fantasy points. You're just playing that. And if it beats you, it beats you. Hopefully we don't have the situation like last week where we get all the nonsense with the lock play. And then the rest of it, yeah, I mean, so Mordecai, Rashee Rice, even though Rubio thinks he's faster than Rashee Rice, I don't know, like these guys are great plays. Even RJ Maryland, Dylan Goffney, 3K. The good part about this spot, you have a ton of cheap guys to go with the two studs where you can just classic game stack it up and throw it in the mix bowl and see who gets there, because these are great plays. I agree. The USF side, you look at these scores, man. It's insane the scoring they're giving up. And then SMU, like I just don't see any way we don't get points in this game. Even say it goes under, like the total's huge, you're still going to get it in the high 50s, 60s. I mean, that's a lot of points for these guys. And you look at the USF side, I almost like it more in a way. What SMU's favored by 17, but I think USF can score here. Marsh at 5K. Weaver looks incredible to me at 5,900. One of my favorite plays on the slate. And this running back, BigT, or however you pronounce it, 5,300 looks very good to me. So this looks like a classic just stack it up game, like all the pieces. I don't see anybody in this game that's a bad play.
Cool. Mangone, I know you had some thoughts on this game. What are you doing here?
Yeah, love this game. Definitely a good one. Mordecai, Levine, Rice, obviously a great stack. And honestly, I want to kind of, I wouldn't mind shoving it up Rubio and having Rice go for like 40 so I can just rub it in his face, right? That would feel good because he thinks he's better than him somehow. Weaver definitely has a great, I know Bruce will talk about like the target share and everything that he gets. And how do I not open up the slate, right? And I see a quarterback at 5K. One of my favorite things to do. He's a runner. He's not like, not the greatest runner though, right? He can run a little bit. And his name is Travis. So I'm in. I'm definitely playing Travis. He's getting me home. And this is like the perfect game to kind of stack up. And I agree, like this game's just going to be on. There's going to be guys from this game, I think, on the winner. So I'm definitely playing it.
Weaver is just a stud, man. Like Weaver's that you pull his box scores up. If you're a box score guy, enjoy those box scores. He's a monster.
Bruce, what about you?
Yeah, love Weaver today. Jimmy Horn Jr. actually is a good play too at 5,100. Doesn't quite get the targets that Weaver does, but still 22% last 4 weeks, has 3 touchdowns. Mentioned Maryland, he's tight end with their other tight end going out. I think he had 3 touchdowns last week, the other tight end. So Mordecai loves throwing to the tight end. The running back situation for SMU, love Levine, just a smash spot for him. You can also look at a guy like Kamar Wheaton, who should be the backup today. Transfer from Alabama. Doesn't have any touchdowns this year, but he is explosive and he's only 3,200. So, you can play both of those guys for 6,600, and I feel pretty good about it. So,
who's from Nebraska?
Kamar Wheaton. He transferred from Bama.
On SMU?
He should be the backup today.
Get me excited with the double cheap running back.
Yeah,
That'll really get things moving.
Yep, those 2 guys should get the majority of the carries. I think Levine's probably going to get more for sure. So if you want to get a little bit different, that's a good cheap way to do it. Mordecai's a lock for me in cash and single entry stuff. So go in there, and then Rice as well. He's going to smash today.
All right, boys. I did my best to get this before 11:30, but I failed miserably. So I apologize. I apologize to all involved. I do have to hop off though, but obviously you guys can cover these last 2 games. Good luck to everybody. Obviously everybody watching, you 3 as well on today's slate. And hope we all smash.
Good luck.
All right, later, guys.
Bruce, who's? I want more on this Wheaton. So was someone else out? What were you saying?
So there's a tweet out there somewhere. I just saw it. Maybe someone posted it in the Discord, but said that that Wheaton and Levine should be the 2 guys at running back today.
Somewhat close to 50-50, 60-40,
probably
70-30?
Probably 70-30, somewhere in that range.
3,200 though. I mean, you want to talk about a build in tournaments that can ship. Just say you're not playing Mordecai or Rice because we want to play the Ohio State spend ups or something. You can leverage this slate so freaking hard by playing both the running backs here with the 5K quarterback. You got tons of, and the receiver, Xavier. 4-man stack in this game. You could play all the other stuff with it, and you got enough exposure where it could have, again, Mordecai is going to score. Rice is going to score, but this is college football. They're 8,100 and 8,400. They need 40s in that price bracket. Just say they get 25 or 30 even. That's not going to beat you. And maybe these running backs get you 15 to 20. I mean, say both these running backs get 15 to 20 and the Mordecai and Rice both get 30, 25 to 30. Like, you are freaking meant to ship everything on this slate.
Here's actually an interesting point that I wanted to ask Bruce about. So Bruce, I just pulled up, sometimes I pull up rankings just to see where teams lie, run D and pass D. And I did notice this game involves South Florida that are their 2, 4, 6. They're literally 10th worst against the run. So they're just awful.
Don't get me excited. You guys are getting me excited here.
So here's what's even better. So they give up 220.5 yards per game on the ground. Right behind them at 213.8, maybe 6 slots down at 17th worst is Southern Methodist, right? Could this be a game where both teams are just establishing it a bit? I don't know. That's something I definitely have thought about. And I'm staring at Mordecai. I think he's a great play. I think Rice is a great play too. I see all these contrarian pivots up top at receiver. And it's definitely something I thought about a little bit. What if Levine is the guy that just drops 30 and it hurts Rice? And I'm already playing Levine. So at the end of the day, if Rice and Mordecai don't get there, it's going to hurt me overall. So
we've seen Rice not get there a bunch of times too. It's not like he's fully invincible.
I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Bruce? Because that is something I looked at and I was I'm asking Bruce this question on the show for sure.
Yeah, I still think they throw it a good amount. Last week when they were up big on Houston, they were still throwing the football. So they still love to throw the ball, even when they're ahead. So I don't know. I mean, I could see playing like a Daniels or something instead, and just hoping he absolutely gets 150 yards rushing and 300 yards passing or something, which is possible against this Arkansas defense. But
yeah, I don't disagree on the Mordecai thing. I think it's like the Rice thing that's getting a little tough, and like trying to figure out what to do with that, because
you can play Mordecai like with the cheap receivers too.
Yeah.
There's lots of because Mordecai is safe to again. I keep using the thing today, but like there's guys that are gonna get you points no matter what, and then there's risk other places.
Yeah, and Goffney's 3K, so I mean he's gonna get 50% of the snaps or so.
You have to like Maryland. You're the tight end guy.
Do you like Maryland or Goffney more? That was the question I was gonna ask you too, Bruce. Because I think you're gonna like Maryland more.
So Goffney has more upside. He's going to be the deep threat along with Curley. Curley.
What weeknight did these guys play? When I played this Goffney and he freaking tilted the shit out of me.
That's when the snaps were a little bit more confusing because they had Corrales and
I think that was that was the Friday I was at your house. I think. BT.
Was it where it was when you were here? And he just pissed me off.
Dishman was catching passes. I don't know if that was that game or whatever, but there's that was that.
We like Goffney too at 3K. This slate is so freaking good.
Curley's also a good play. 4,600. Got 74% of the snaps. 16 yard average depth of target. So he's kind of their big play guy. Transferred from TCU. So I like him a lot. He plays on the outside. As long as he doesn't get injured, he seems to get injured all the time. So, but good play. I think there's a lot of good receivers here. You can play other than Rice if you want to, but 35% target share last 4 weeks is just really good. Hard to fade for sure if you are playing Mordecai.
All right, Big T, do you have anything else in this game, or am I getting the keys, or are you letting Mario Chalmers run the ship the rest of the way?
No, yeah, Chalmers is the point guard. There's a reason he's the point guard.
Okay, let me run the ship the rest of the way for the people. What do we got left? We got Maryland and Penn State, which we did not talk about yet, and that's not a game I'm not dying to play guys here either. Bruce, let's go to you. Anything stick out here? This seems like a pretty good game just to fade.
Yeah, for the most part, I like Penn State's running backs. You can play both of those guys, Singleton and Allen. But yeah, Maryland side, I just don't think they're very good. And Penn State should do a good job shutting them down. Singleton got 50% of the snaps last week, and Allen 40. So should be close to a split between those two guys, and they are slate breakers when they're good.
Cool. We'll keep this thing moving over to Big T. Any interest in this game, or is this just a fade for you, Big T?
Yeah, it's more of a fade, but you can play the Penn State running backs. I got them both in my player pool still. Allen, Singleton, they both look good. I think Penn State pounds Maryland today. I hate this Maryland team. They've killed me for years. I think Penn State kills them. Yeah, just the running backs.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about kind of like early in the year, we're like, this is just a good team to maybe fade this year. Like, not like
I can't wait till Baby 2 is gone. Just get him out of my life.
And hopefully he's not somehow in the NFL.
He is not going to be in. I will be so pissed if he's in the NFL. He can't be.
I mean, I'll just say this: you were shocked about the Will Levis thing, so
I'm like stunned. Have I talked to Bruce about this with this guy? I can't believe this guy is a top 3 projection. Like I am stunned.
Gross.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I'll take an L one day if he's good. Because people compare him to Josh Allen, and I like Josh Allen coming out, but I just can't fathom this Kentucky dude being good in the pros.
No.
Yeah, we'll have to say, but I don't think we have. I didn't miss.
I didn't even think he was an NFL quarterback, and then when I seen top 3, like it blew. I was mind blown.
All right. Well, I don't think we have anything else to talk about. I think that's every single game. Obviously, we talked about
Tulane, Mario Chalmers.
Oh, you're right. That's true. I messed up. Actually, I did have a big question I wanted to ask Bruce, a huge question. Sure. What are you doing with Harvey? This is actually a guy that I wanted to talk about with the number 7 DFS player in the world who left us. So that was very hurtful. But I mean, one big decision point you can have, Bruce, is like you could pick this Battier guy. I don't know if it's Shane Battier on our former or BT, whatever you want to call him, or Harvey. I think that's a really big debate on this slate. Harvey's a really good play, though. I think a lot of people are interested in. What are you doing with this Tulane UCF game? And our boy Plumlee's on the slate that we love to play, but I don't think we can get him really here, Bruce.
Yeah, it depends on what they do at quarterback. I like O'Keefe a ton if Keene plays. I he's had double-digit targets the last 2 weeks with Keene in there, and he's just so explosive that I just that he's 6,600 gonna be unowned, just in a smash spot with Keene in there. Plumlee doesn't throw the ball as well as Keene, so yeah, that would hurt that a little bit. I do like Harvey, as you mentioned. Just getting more and more snaps. Looks like the more explosive player than Bowser, but this is a tough matchup for UCF, for UCF against Tulane. Tulane's only giving up 13 points per game to the running back spot, so it's extremely rough. I do like Harvey if Keene's in there because he can kind of open it up just a little bit through the air. So it's a possibility, especially on FanDuel. He's only 6,700 there, and just a good play. Spears is going to be under-owned again. He smashed last week against Tulsa, but that's a much softer matchup than UCF. It's tough. Pratt's also a good play at quarterback, 6,100, runs a little bit, but again, tougher matchup as well. So yeah, it's mostly a stay away game for me, but there are some individual pieces that are nice.
Yeah, and did you say you like Keene more if you like O'Keefe more if Keene is in? Is that what you said?
Exactly. Yeah, I think he's had 11 and 12 targets the last 2 weeks with Keene in there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean and also like if Plumlee is in there, you never know what the injury is, right? Like and like how bad he's banged up. So that's always something to worry about. What are you doing there, Big T, with this game? Again, it's not one I was kind of thinking about playing Harvey, and like I don't know, I'm kind of souring on him a bit. I thought that, I'm happy Bruce kind of got me to sour him because he's kind of someone I was trying to pivot off of anyways. What's your thoughts here on this game, Big T?
Yeah, I land in this 5K a bunch at running back, and there's a lot of guys in that range where, honestly, right now, I mean, the people that can see my player pool over at Run Pure, I'm trying to trim this running back player pool down, and maybe Harvey's the guy I leave out if Bruce didn't feel that great about it, because there's all these guys, and honestly, I feel good about Donovan Edwards. I know it's a split, but I just trust that more than a UCF running back. I don't know if I should, but again, like everyone knows, I like to make cuts. I don't want to play everyone. I just feel better about Edwards. So maybe I do need to get rid of Harvey. And these Penn State guys, too, are in that 5K range.
Yeah, Penn State guys are in a better spot, I think.
Yeah, it's hard, though, like to trim down. Like, how would you rank these 5K guys, Bruce? Like, all these, it's tough. Even one of the Notre Dames is in the 5K, too, right?
Yeah, there's 4,500 and then there's a 5K. I think both those guys are better than a better spot than Harvey as well.
So Bruce, how about this? Give your top three of those, like
of the 5K guys.
Like the 5K running back. I think that's like
even
a good
BigT from our UCF games in that range.
That's what I was thinking of, like playing BigT over Harvey, like just because I already have a game stack.
Bruce.
Yeah, I'd go BigT as the one
over the Penn State guys too.
Yeah, it's pretty close, but yeah, give me them over the Penn State guys. And then you have the Notre Dame guys there too. So 4,500 for Diggs seems way too low. If you go down that far, that's just a solid.
Looks like Jefferson might be out too from all these stuff that they're posting in there. Not active in pregame. That changes a lot with that freaking game.
Yeah, because you can play the backup there because all he does is run. Hornsby.
Yeah, that is my kind of player. I'll say
he's 5,900, so that's not a horrible play if Hornsby is the starter. They started Fortin last time and he's terrible. So hopefully they don't start him this time.
So if he is out, does that make you let's just circle back real quick. Does that make you worry about Booty? Maybe it makes you upgrade the running game of LSU because they could obviously be in a better script. Bruce, what do you think about that?
Yeah, that's. I mean, I still like Booty. He's still too cheap. I think 5,300. That's too. I think he's 7K on FanDuel too. So it's just too cheap for him, and he's still going to see his targets. It's cold, but. Yeah, it's not too bad.
How about this? I'll give a small piece of the content to the people. Big T, you have Booty in your core, right? Is that going to change it for you? Also, anyone who gets upset, no one's guessing the rest of the score. Trust me. You're not guessing it. You have no clue what it's going to be. I've already looked at it. But does that change it? Because I do think that matters here.
I mean, my whole core is probably going to change, honestly. Just I put that up. I don't know. I feel differently about the slate than when that went up. So I still like BigT a lot, but I'm going to like that game a lot less if Jefferson's not in, just because of the way it shapes up. So yeah, I don't. I still like him, to answer your question. I don't know for sure because I do like that range of receiver where everyone can't see. I like that mid-range receivers a lot.
All right, Bruce, here, let's go back to the Hornsby thing. If Hornsby's in, because I think this changes the slate like big time, would you lean still spending for a Mordecai and then going to like a Hornsby, or would you lean maybe like could it be a double punt quarterback weeks? Like we've talked about liking Travis, right? We've talked about some of these other guys. Like, I don't know. I mean, if you play two cheap running quarterbacks, what it can do for your lineup is insane typically.
Yeah, I still think the matchup's really tough for Hornsby. LSU has been really good on
Don't
defense.
play freaking Hornsby. Just say it.
I'm just asking. I think it's
he's so fast though, man. He's really a difference maker. He's much faster than Jefferson. More of like a Vic type guy. I don't respect his passing as much, so they could stack the box a little bit more. Brian Kelly always seems to have a good defense. So it's a little bit rough. I think he can get there if they get down a couple scores, just some garbage time, but I don't know. That's a rough spot. I do like the 5K QB a little bit more, the USF guy.
All right, Big T, any final thoughts on this game, or is it time to kind of wrap this thing up?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to watch the Jefferson news, but I don't know. I don't need to play Jefferson. I don't need that game either, so maybe I'll just back away. It's not like the Texas A&M spot last week where your week depends on if you choose right based on that news. We got other pivots. I'm just gonna ignore it, I think.
All right. Nice, Kevin, with the comment of the day. Rubio is his favorite fictional hero. That is correct. Rubio has a lot of things. He's faster than Tyreek Hill. He's better than Rashee Rice at receiver. It's good times. But
that's gonna be thinking about this damn Hornsby. Like if he does, like he's just all runner too.
Yeah, no kidding. I watched him just run. He's like fast. It's tough. I mean,
at 5,900, like.
You can grab Gibbs, you can grab Corum,
yeah, and you don't have to worry about correlation as much on a week where there's a lot of really good plays that you can kind of just, I don't know. If we know for sure he's playing and Jefferson's out, I would have to have interest. I'm more on Mangone's side, I guess.
Yeah, one of my favorite things to do in college football is the two guys below 6K that run. So I
don't feel great about it, but I also, if he's a runner, it gives you more outs for sure. But it is an unknown. We got to get in the Discord over at Run Pure.
Yep, get in the Discord over at Run Pure Sports. That is going to wrap it up for us. Thanks a lot for joining us here, guys. For me, Mango, Big T, and Bruce. We'll see you guys later.